Let me recognize the ranking member, Mr. Brady, to inquire.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am very concerned, Madam Secretary, that in your global tax negotiations, Treasury is surrendering the U.S. tax base to foreign governments. A tax base we'll need in the future to fund important government services. They do this, or your agreement does this, by targeting 60% of the revenues for redistribution will come from U.S. companies. I don't understand why you signed an agreement that targets Boeing but not Airbus, that targets Caterpillar and John Deere but not their foreign competitors Volvo or Korematsu. So my question is, given the fact that our U.S. tax base is for our U.S. taxpayers, will you commit to walk away from any deal on Pillar 1 or Pillar 2 that results in lower tax revenues for the United States?
Well, on Pillar 1, which I think that you were mainly referring to in your remarks, the proposal is to subject a portion of the profits of all large multinationals and highly profitable multinationals, wherever they're based, to share globally a portion of those taxing rights. And the United States, as a large market economy, will gain the ability to tax a portion of the excess profits of foreign companies. We have not yet been able to come to provide an estimate of exactly what the net gain or loss is, because there are critical details of Pillar 1 that remain to be negotiated.
No, I understand you're in those negotiations, but I think you'll admit the majority of those tax revenues will come from U.S. businesses in the U.S. tax base. And well, secondly, I would love to see, I know we've requested it several times, will you share this week with Congress Treasury's economic analysis of this agreement, specifically the redistribution in Pillar 1? And as I've read, the Pillar 2 design will also result in gaming over the U.S. tax code for redistribution. So could you share those economic impacts with the tax writers in Congress?
As I said, until some final details of Pillar 1 are negotiated, we're not possible to come up with an estimate to share with a committee. But our calculations do show that the impact is likely to be small, either way, positive or negative.
Thank you. I hope that's the case, but I do ask that you share that. But I do have a final question. I know your time is so incredibly busy. So under your global tax plan, you propose Congress give up its taxing authority to foreign governments, the OECD, and the accountants at the Financial Accounting and the International Accounting Standard Board. These aren't just tax provisions on international tax, but on research and development, on expensing, on local tax credits and how they're designed. So how do you convince House tax writers, whose authority is anchored in the Constitution, to cede that authority over our own tax code to foreign governments or to unelected accounting bureaucracies?
Well, I guess I would disagree with the characterization that we're ceding our rights to tax income to foreigners, but the agreement does contain an enforcement mechanism in which countries that do not adopt a compliant global minimum tax, that other countries do have the right to ensure that
unfortunately, Madam Chairman,
multinationals pay a minimum tax.
I get it. I strongly disagree. I've read both Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, and you are not protecting either the U.S. tax code or the way we do our tax credits.
Thank the gentleman. The gentleman from